"Sir, I know a way to help your daughter walk again," said a ragged boy from the shadows to the wealthy man. Gregory Vale had passed that narrow alleyway countless times before, but today was different. Today, the soft creak of small wheels echoed beside his polished dress shoes. Today, the air was so thick with silence it felt like it might choke him. In the wheelchair beside him sat his 8-year-old daughter, Naomi. She was quiet, her legs unmoving beneath a knitted sky-blue blanket. Her golden hair hung over her cheeks, her eyes locked on the pavement as if she'd stopped hoping long ago. But Gregory hadn't, not entirely. Yet hope had turned into a cruel, mocking echo in his life. Since the accident 2 years earlier, every medical expert, therapist, and so-called miracle worker had accepted his money and left him with the same devastating verdict: irreversible. Spinal injury. They might live a full life, they'd always say softly, but she'll never walk again. He could move heaven and earth with his wealth, but nerves, that was beyond his reach. That's when the voice came. "Sir," said the boy again from the alleyway's edge, "I can help your daughter walk." Gregory halted, his hand still resting on Naomi's wheelchair handle. Slowly, he turned around, expecting to see a con artist, or worse. Instead, a barefoot boy stood there. The child couldn't have been much older than Naomi. His skin was dark. He was thin, barefoot, and swallowed, in a coat much too big for him. His hands were filthy, and one eye bore a faint bruise, but his voice was unwavering. "What did you say?" Gregory asked, narrowing his eyes. "I said I can help her," the boy repeated without hesitation. Gregory's brow furrowed. "Is this some kind of cruel joke? Who put you up to it?" "No one," the boy replied. "My name's Eli. I live behind the train yard. I saw you pushing her here yesterday. I waited today because I knew you'd return." Gregory squinted. "You've been watching us?" "Yes," Eli admitted, "but not in a weird way. I watched lots of people walk by, but she looked different, like she used to run fast, and now her legs just forgot." Naomi's head tilted slightly, more reaction than she'd shown in days. "I've already taken her to the top hospitals around the globe," Gregory said firmly. "Neurologists, surgeons, even energy healers who claim to move chai with their fingertips. Nothing worked. Nothing ever does." "But you haven't brought her to my grandmother," Eli said simply. "She helped me when no one else even tried." "You're what, 8? Gregory asked, almost amused. 9 next month, Eli replied. He stepped forward. "She doesn't take money, just trust, and she never demands belief, just effort." Naomi looked up at her father. "Please, can we try?" Gregory hesitated. The words "no" and "absolutely not" churned in his head. But then he remembered her voice, weeks ago, breaking as she said, "I hate being like this." He knelt beside her. "If anything feels off, we leave immediately, understand?" Naomi nodded. Eli gave a small smile, turned, and walked. They followed. Behind the city, the streets gave way to an unfamiliar path. Overgrown weeds, rusted fences, and walls covered in graffiti lined the way. Naomi flinched each time the wheelchair jolted over uneven ground. Gregory considered turning back more than once, but Eli kept glancing behind with a calm, quiet confidence far beyond his years. They arrived at the edge of a wooded trail. It seemed like it led nowhere. "This way," Eli said, pointing into the trees. Gregory exhaled. "If anything happens to my daughter—" "She'll be fine," Eli interrupted gently. "She'll be more than fine." At the end of the path stood a humble wooden cabin, its frame aged and covered with moss. It looked like it had been pulled straight from a storybook. An old woman stepped out onto the porch. Her long, silvery hair was braided with threads and tiny bits of bark. Her eyes were a sharp green, piercing, timeless. "I was wondering when you'd bring them," she said to Eli. He nodded. He didn't believe, but she did. Naomi offered a soft smile. The woman knelt before her. "Child, may I place my hands on your knees?" Naomi looked to her father. He paused, then gave a hesitant nod. The woman rested her palms gently on Naomi's legs. Her eyes closed, and she began to hum, a sound as soft as wind through trees. Naomi flinched. "I felt something," she whispered. Gregory stepped forward. "What did you feel?" "A tingle in my toes." The woman opened her eyes. "Her spine isn't damaged beyond repair. It's simply frozen, trapped in grief. The heart, not the brain, commands the body." Gregory shook his head. "That's not medicine." "No," the woman agreed. "But science doesn't cradle your daughter's tears each night, does it?" Eli stepped forward. "Can she try to stand?" The woman looked to Naomi. "Only if she wants to." Naomi nodded. The woman gently rolled the wheelchair back and helped her to her feet. Naomi's legs quivered. Gregory stepped forward, alarmed, but the woman raised a hand to stop him. Naomi's right foot shifted, then the left. She stood, wobbly like a newborn deer, but she stood. Gregory dropped to his knees, overwhelmed. "Naomi!" She turned, tears mixing with her smile. "Daddy, I'm standing." Gregory gasped, unable to speak. He crawled to her and embraced her legs, terrified she might fall or vanish. Eli stood quietly at a distance. Gregory turned to him in disbelief. "Who are you?" Eli shrugged. "Just a boy who believed someone could be whole again." Gregory reached into his coat pocket. "I'll pay you, whatever you want. Just name your price." Eli shook his head. "I don't want money. I just needed someone to listen." As sunlight filtered through the trees, Naomi took 3 careful steps toward her father and toward the life she thought was gone. She took another unsteady step. Gregory watched, arms slightly raised, unsure if he should catch her or let her go. She trembled. Tears streamed freely down her face, but she was walking step by step. Then she stumbled. Gregory leapt, catching her before she hit the ground. "I've got you," he whispered, voice breaking. "I've got you." Naomi clung to him, sobbing. "I felt my legs, Daddy. I really felt them." "You did, sweetheart," he murmured. "You really did." Behind them, the old woman stood in silence, hands clasped, gently as if she'd witnessed this miracle many times before. There were no grand gestures, no applause, just quiet peace. Eli crouched nearby, not grinning, not celebrating, just watching. Gregory turned to him once more, this time lowering himself to the boy's level. "Please," he said softly, "I need to understand. How did you know? How did you do this?" Eli lowered his eyes.